know, we're chilling on the set tonight. Here with some wonderful ladies here who are entrepreneurs by night. They're professional career women by day, and they're doing it all. So I have the wonderful opportunity. My name is Jamair Atkins. I'm here representing Young Life, a Christian-based organization that's taking a part in the movement and some social injustice that we're facing. And I'll let these wonderful ladies introduce themselves this evening, and we'll start with...
Hi, I'm Courtney Edwards, and I will be representing Into Radio.
What's up, everybody? It's Kiki. You know me from the Diva Den, and I'm also representing Into Radio with my girl Court.
Hello, I'm Tiffany, and I represent La Femme Trust Hair Co.
Hello, I'm Deanna, also of La Femme Trust Hair Company.
So, we're having them here this evening to just enjoy and just have a little conversation. Like I said, these are all full-time career women in their own prospective regard. And then we turn around and then they are entrepreneurs. But they understand the power of their voice in their community. So my job tonight is just to kind of hear what they say as we face some injustice with Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, Ferguson, Missouri as well. So we're just going to dialogue a little bit, get a conversation, and just see where they're standing, because they understand the power of having that voice, taking back where we stand as a community. So we're going to start with a little conversation dialogue here. We're first going to start with Courtney, and just feel, how do you feel as an African American woman and seeing this injustice happen right before your eyes?
As an African American woman, as an African American human being in this world, the injustice probably almost unbearable, but it's our system that's been created for all these years. Like, our system has taught us that we can do so much, but yet we're still held back, and we're fighting to get cameras put on police, and I really don't see the purpose in that, because it was a camera that showed, you know, police beating Rodney King. It was a camera that showed the police who killed John Crawford out in Ohio. It was a camera that showed, you know, police killing Mr. Gardner. So I don't really think that that's the purpose. So the injustice is what the generation was before us and what our generation is now. So the only way I think that we can change that unjust system is by truly impacting the youth, because it's really, really hard to change the perspective on adults. They already have that in their head. You know, by the time, if you were born racist, and by the time you're 25 or 28 years old, you're still racist, 9 times out of 10, you're going to die racist. So my job, or even whatever it may be, so my job as an African American woman, as an American, is to impact my youth, to impact the generation behind me, so that their generation doesn't have to see so much injustice in their system.
Very good point. So I want to roll it over here to Miss Makitha Hampton, or Kiki, as she is called affectionately through the Diva Den, and ask her, you have the power of the pen. You are a blogger, so this is what you do. So what do you plan, or how is it affecting you as being in entertainment and being a blogger and having the pen to write down what you feel?
Well, it's really affecting me just as an American overall, not even just being African American. It's just really affecting me, period. To be able to watch something like that happen and just know that there was no justice served, it just completely takes away any faith I have in our judicial system in America as a whole. And really it just influenced me to kind of get action started in our community. I think a lot of times we kind of just get busy with life, and so we turn a blind eye to a lot of things that are going on. And we don't do all that we can, but me as someone who's influencing the culture and giving back to the culture with the things that I do with your organization through Young Life and the youth, I just think that it's time for us, as Courtney said, to instill that in the people coming up behind us, as our ancestors did for us. Even though we're not acting on it, I think as a culture, as powerful as we should be, we can install that in the children behind us. But I also think that it's important that we call on our leaders, the people that we put up on a pedestal, our politicians, the people we put in office, the pastors, the bishops, the people we give our money to every week and we follow and listen to, our entertainers even. I think it's upon them to be the example, because we put them on such a high pedestal. Now, and when something like this happens, we need you to be our leaders and lead us to what we're supposed to be doing to make change.
Very key point. And I think that's what Young Life had kind of even touched on, because I actually had the opportunity, I was in a meeting earlier today with our area, and we were just discussing how it's systematic. You know, one thing that we discussed was, as Young Life saw it, is how, when we think about the Ferguson case, being 67% minority, meaning African American, Hispanic, the minority, but you have a full police force that's 53 men, and out of 53 men, only 3 are minorities, and the other 50 are Caucasian. So what systematic message are we really sending to our young people? And so I know for us, I've had the pleasure to work with you and the Femme Trust in some outreach initiative that we do here in the South Suburban area with our high schools and things of that nature. So the Femme Trust, as a new company, starting out, and have a value in the community. Both of you coming from the south side of Chicago, but stretching your community initiatives way beyond that broad spectrum and saying we need to play a role. Where do you see yourself playing in our systematic injustice before our eyes?
Well, like you said, just reaching out to the community. I personally am a big believer of controlling things that you can control.
Right.
So you're not always going to be able to change someone's opinion of you. You're not, just thinking, always thinking on a larger scale is not always, necessarily the best approach. So we like to just, reach out to those children who we come in contact with, whether it be through Young Life or, just kids that we know from neighborhoods and that we grew up in. Just reaching out to those children and just, being a positive influence and a positive role model and just setting forth a good example so that, all they see is not just entertainers, that those are not their only idols, that we are, someone that they can look up to. So I think that is always our mission, just to be a positive example for the kids that are around us, and maybe change their perspective about certain things so that, maybe they carry themselves in a different way. Maybe they look at Black women in a different way. Maybe that kind of inspires them to do other things that changes the way people think about them.
Very, very good point. So with that being said, I was listening today too, because I've been drenched with the opportunity to just be around people who are really struggling with this, because it's not like we didn't see it. Before we knew the things were going on, but now we actually have live video footage. Like Courtney said, it's not a question. It's not, is it systematic? It's not, is it racism? Now our former forefathers, they're not wearing sheets anymore. They're putting on nice ties and they're going into the corporate offices and they're sitting at the big desks and big offices and making a stand without saying a word. And so with that being said, I was actually listening to Reverend Al Sharpton earlier today, and he made a statement. He said, we as people are allowing this to happen, and our young people are being shot down, killed, murdered, and they're burying them. But we will rise up. They're just burying seeds to sprout up. So when I say that statement,
I'm sorry, that's a word. I gotta go watch that video.
So he said that. So that's it. When he said it was like a kind of moment, like wow. So as African American women, and you have beat, because we can go a little bit further and talk about sexism, where women were not identified. You have beat the stereotype. You have went and educated yourself in your respective fields. You are what society would say success looks like. And you have sprouted now up above that. How do you feel as you are going back in your own perspective regards in the hair industry? I mean, the hair is flawless. Then we have the Diva Den, where we're doing the blogging. So we're covering celebrity gossip. But what are you going to do in your perspective field into radio with Courtney? What are you going to do to help the marginalized? What are we going to do as a people now that you have sprouted out? Because there was some people that died before you, and you are the remnants that sprouted out. So what are you going to do in your prospective organizations and businesses to give back and make sure that you have the power, you have the mic in entertainment, radio, film hair, that's dealing with the public? What are you going to do?
Well, I know for us, for La Femme Trust, so we're not just the hair company, but like we said, we give back to the community. So we have a lot of things that we plan to do, such as we want to impact young women and little girls, and go to shelters. And let's just say that you're going on an interview and you have nothing to wear, and your hair, you need a makeover, you need a consultation, things of that nature. That's what La Femme Trust is here for. We want to do consultations. We want to make sure that you are ready for the interview, as far as knowing what you should wear from head to toe, making sure that you're wearing your black suit, your blue proper attire, that you're not wearing pumps, but you're wearing the actual appropriate attire, and just making sure that your hair is on point. So just giving you that extra push to make you look good and be ready for that interview. And let's just say you've had a hard life. Maybe you've been abused, or life has just shot you down. Not only do we sell hair, but we want to empower you, that you're beautiful, that you do matter. So whatever the issues are, whether you're a young lady and you're going to college and you're not ready for college, and what things that you might come up on. So not only are we a hair company, but we're here to empower our community, empower other lives. So yeah, we're here to do an abundance of things for our community, because that's what we stand for.
Courtney?
Well, I know for myself, and even Kiki with radio, it's so easy to fall in place of what society talks about. And of course, media will bring you negative connotations of what the world is talking about, just so you don't have to think about the revolution of the world. But the revolution has to be televised. The revolution has to be talked about. I'm a huge Angela Davis fan, and she spoke on, and we have at least 2 or 3 major networks that are owned by African Americans, and yet the real revolution is not being televised. We're too busy thinking about how we can put up things like sorority sisters on television, or we're too busy trying to figure out how the next basketball wife, who probably will never be a wife, is getting to the next level. We're too busy trying to figure out how the housewives who are not wives, who don't live like that, are trying to get to the next level. And there's nothing against those things, but where's the balance in it? It's always going to be ratchet, because it's always going to be negativity in life, but where's the balance? Where's the upbringing that says, okay, I know that that's there, but it's also, greatness there. So with that being said, I mean, we have to speak on reality. There's nothing wrong with being funny. There's nothing wrong with giving you good entertainment, because we are 2 hilarious people at heart. We have a big heart. But in actuality, I can't sit here and talk about, crazy stuff that really has nothing to do with society and the upbringing of our next generation that can help. So it's definitely about speaking about the revolution in all terms, not just African American terms, but America, because we live in a systematic world. So, and it's just going to be unjust until we talk about it.
Well said.
Very.
Miss Kiki?
Just like as Courtney was saying, just with being a part of the media, online and on radio, I think it's important that we just kind of bring attention to. We set the standard. We set the tone. We influence the culture, and if we influence the culture to do other things, to watch Love and Basketball Wives, whatever come on anymore, to watch Love and Hip Hop, which is one of my favorites. But it's like when I see somebody on TV or on the internet that looks just like me, or just like you, or just like one of my brothers or my boyfriend, that are just his life is just taken with no one's held accountable. When I see something that's like, okay, it's a time to play and it's a time not to play. And right now, it's a time not to play for our entire culture. And it's not even just an African American problem. It's an American problem. Anytime you live in a country where that type of stuff is allowed by officials that we pay and employ, and we have to be fearful of them, that's a problem. So that's why, just like tonight, instead of me being at home blogging about what's hot on the internet, Bobby Smurder going to jail, I'm sitting here talking to you about what we can do to make change, because it's time, like, it's easy to turn your head. Because when I first, so the Mike Brown situation happened, I saw it, my heart was heavy for about a week, and I'm being honest, that the very next week, I think a holiday came or something else happened, and my mind was completely had left that situation. I was still tuning in to CNN, still trying to see what was going on, but my attention and the passion that I felt when I first saw it had completely left me. And I thought to myself, what would Dr. King do? You know what I'm saying? Would Dr. King be on to the next subject the next week? Is that my attention span that short that I just watched somebody that looks like my little brother get killed in the street and no one's held accountable? Is my attention span that short that I moved on to the next subject? And that's when I had to reel myself in. I have too big of an influence. When it first happened, I said, well, I got Diva Den. It's a small blog. Who am I to get on my soapbox and start preaching? Nobody want to hear that. Ain't nobody gonna pay attention to that. But if we all can get on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and post selfies and post the next thing, why are we not doing things like this to cause change in our community? We have power. We just don't realize it. If we all unite together and call, like I was telling you, when the Eric Garner verdict came, I called a meeting with my staff. Let's have a meeting right now. We need to call on our leaders. We need to call on our politicians. We need to call on our pastors. We need to hold them accountable to make change in our country. So when that happened, it was just instant for me. It was a no-brainer. Now it's time to pay attention. It's nothing else that's more important, that's more exciting than causing change in our community. If you big and you bad and you can make all the music videos, show me what you can do in your community to make change. And that's just, I get real passionate about it because it's hurtful.
It is.
But we have to do something.
I want to add to that, but I really think that the cause of that type of situation, we think about, like you just said, like just you were in tune to the whole, Eric Gardner said you were in tune to the whole Ferguson trial, and then a week later here comes these issues with family, and here comes the issues with holiday. But I really think that comes from a capitalistic society and capitalism in our world, because that's what the world will show you. It's like, yeah, we could sit here, we could talk about Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner. It's a ton of other people who've been murdered due to a government standing, because that's what the police work for, as the government and the system. So, but society and the capitalists will say, well, we ain't got time to worry about that.
Right. You gotta get on to the next.
I gotta go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta figure out.
I gotta feed these kids. I
gotta feed these kids. And there's nothing to say against that, but it's like, I'm not gonna show you the TV. The media is not gonna show you that you should still be looking into that. CNN will, but they still show you the watered down version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll show you all day why reunions need to come on. I'll show you all day why I should be worried about Bobby Schmurda going to jail. Like, why is that even important?
Exactly.
Why is that even a headline
on any urban blog?
Any urban blog. Oh, Bobby Schmurda. Like, he's 20. He's probably going to go to jail a couple more times because he's having fun. But don't sit there and judge him for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as he does something nice, it's like, oh my God, nobody's going to notice that.
Because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because that's not what's going to pay.
And that brings up a very key thing. So when we talk about no one will notice his good, but we will magnify his negative, is it a systematic way that we have allowed the almighty dollar, per se, to persuade us so we don't see the good? But if Angelina Jolie goes and adopts a baby, it's on the front, everyone knows. But no one knows everyone's quiet story. Why is it so publicized when our young African American artists, and because they want the wealth, they want the fame, why is it so popularized so quickly that that's what you see right away, but you never see their good?
Well, I can, as an
we're
urban
still
blogger,
slaves.
Right. We definitely have
drama attracts attention. That's just
Of
human
course.
nature. That's just the way we've been brought up. A headline, as Bobby Schmurda goes to jail, sensationalizes the whole story, and it automatically draws your attention. And I would put a headline like that because I want you to click on it, because I want my advertisers to get seen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all back down to the mighty dollar. You can go on blogs will make up stories that aren't even true, have no basis to them, but they will make it up so that you can go on their site to get those type of advertisers. But just sitting here talking, it hit me like, why is there any other headline on my blog right now other than what I can do for my community? We as urban, everybody want to dress like us. They want to be like us. They want to look like us. They want to listen to our music.
Well, about our kids, because we adopted them.
Okay.
If we have that type of influence, because hip hop has literally influenced the entire American generation. Like everybody wants to be a part of hip hop, right? If we have that type of influence, can you imagine if we all got on the same united front and said, we're not standing for this? How many people? What kind of influence that would have? So my question is, as we are young entrepreneurs trying to make this change and do what we can to bring about change, like I just want to be able to get our leaders involved, the people that influence the culture even bigger than me, you know, that they can get a part of this and that we can actually bring about some change. That's just my whole mission in this thing.
Very valid point. Well, I understand why even though a lot of women before you did not make it, they were buried and they were sprouted right here before us today. I see that there is a gift, and that gift has allowed you the opportunity and afforded you the opportunity to sit where you are today, to sit among the faithful few or sit among the very few that are standing the test and doing what you're doing. Me personally, Jamair, I'm very impressed and I am thankful for the opportunity to sit with you on tonight and just have a little conversation and dialogue, because we have to make our voice, because it's everyone I think can understand and it can be all in agreement that we all understand the power of this very thing that we're doing right now. And as we go forward from this point, I am glad to know that you have already kind of had some kind of plan, but as we move to the next level, make sure that we have strategically placed it out, because it's not going to stop. The lady I was watching a lot of videos today, she said it was 16 years ago it happened to her son. So that's 1998. So we look at now, 2014, what are we going to do different? What are we going to do to change the mindset? We can't just start with all these, this is nice. But everyone I'm challenging with this opportunity is to remember to continue to move forward. Don't stop. Invest into your community and make sure that you are invested in what you're going to do. Don't just be about talk.
Right. Don't just send a tweet. Don't just put up an Instagram video one time.
Do something.
But you actually have to get out in your community and do the footwork.
And be a foot soldier. And that's what it's about. The frontline people never get the pat on the back. But to know that you lived a life where you are able to be that frontline soldier and stand for the justice of Trayvon Martin, the justice for Eric Gardner, the justice for Ferguson, Missouri, and Michael Brown, the justice for all of the unknown. We are here standing together as entrepreneurs, but more than entrepreneurs, we are standing here as their brothers and sisters that understand it could be us. So I thank you for your time tonight. Look forward to doing this again and having more conversation with you wonderful ladies. And that's all. So thank you guys for your time, and we look forward to having it happen in the near future. Thank you.